Yeah.
How you doing?
All right.
Well, what do you have in there?
Oh, I got some wild birds.
Really? Well, where did you get them from?
Got them from a field over there full of wild birds.
That's pretty cool. So, what do you plan on doing with them?
Oh, I'm going to play games with them.
Games. What kind of games?
Well, see, I got this one game where I take this really sharp stick and I jab it in and out of there. And they go, ka, ka, ka. And I got this other game where I shake the cage really hard like this. It's like an earthquake or something. Boy, they like that.
Okay, so then, when you're done playing these games with these birds, then what?
Oh, I feed them to my cat.
Okay, I tell you what, I happen to be very fond of wild birds.
Really?
Yeah, so if it's right with you, I'd like to buy them from you.
Why? They don't do nothing. They don't do any tricks or anything.
That's okay. How much?
$5.
$5. Fine.
$10.
Fine, $10.
$20.
Oh, come on, man. They're wild birds, man.
Man, these are exotic birds.
But you found them out there in the field.
It's an exotic field.
Fine. But you know what? That's all you're going to get.
Sucker.
Right here.
Let's hear for Robert and Todd. I tell you, I don't know about you, but I have been in a situation where I feel trapped like one of those birds. Have you ever been in that kind of situation? Yes, I've been in that kind of situation too, where I felt trapped like one of those birds. And I just want you to know that that's not the end of the story. There's more to come. Can we see the rest of the story?
Excuse me. What do you got in there?
You know what I got in there.
Mankind. Wait.
Hey, don't look at me. They put themselves in there. I had nothing to do with it.
Okay, so now that you got them in there, what do you plan on doing with them?
Oh, I'm going to play games with them.
I'm sorry. Games? Did you say games?
Games, games, games. See, first, I'm going to mess with their minds. Then I'm going to make their right seem wrong and their wrong seem right. I'm going to turn their world upside down.
Okay, so when you're done playing games with these people, then what?
Doesn't matter. They'll be condemned for all eternity.
Okay. I tell you what, I happen to be very fond of mankind.
Yeah, I know.
So what I'm going to do is I want to pay for their freedom.
You want these humans?
Yes, sir.
Why? You know they'll just turn their back on you. They've done it before. Chances are they're just going to do it again.
You know what? Some will, some won't.
You know it's going to cost you your tears.
Oh, I know.
You know it's going to cost you your blood.
Well, we'll wear that too.
You know it's going to cost you your life.
Yes. Yes, it will.
You're willing to give your life for these humans?
I tell you what. I think that you've had these people locked up in here long enough. Therefore, I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
Amen. I tell you what, that is a very impactful skit. I also wanted to share with you that Robert wrote that himself. Y'all give it up for Robert. I don't know about you, but I know I can relate to being trapped and having put myself there. And I know that Jesus paid the ultimate price. He shed his tears. He shed his blood. He gave his life to buy my freedom. At this time, Robert, can you please share with us your testimony?
Hands are shaking. Just want to thank Todd. Todd, yeah, he's a little country. Me, I'm a little rock and roll. But I love Todd. And the one thing I like about Todd, not only is he the same every day, but he holds me accountable. All right. So yeah, my name is Rob. I'm 51. I'm born in New York. But at the age of 4, my parents had gotten divorced, and me and my brother were pretty much raised by my mom. I was about 5 when my mom had remarried to a man who was physically abusive to her, and both physically and sexually abusive to me and my brother. You know, this went on till, I don't know, I was maybe 7 or 8. The time is very vague, but the memories are very euphoric. So, had he not have been arrested for similar charges for someone else, who knows how much longer it would have lasted. But now with him gone, it didn't take much longer for my mom to get into another relationship, another abusive relationship. It's a pattern. I don't know why, but this is what I've seen. Anyway, so by the time I was in grade school, I had serious concentration problems and even worse, behavior problems. I started to twitch, grind my teeth, sometimes grunt, like uncontrollably, and nobody could figure out where these things were coming from or how to make them stop. Being in school was probably the worst because the other kids, they used to laugh and tease you and whatnot. So I was constantly getting into fights in school and around the neighborhood. By the time I was 12, I did know right from wrong, but I made some poor choices in making friends of who I really wanted to hang out with because, they did what they wanted to do. They said what they wanted to say, and they just lived that kind of free-spirited lifestyle. So I started sneaking out at 12 so I can go out drinking, getting high, and I was becoming sexually active at 12 years old. By the time I was 16, my behaviors had gotten worse, and so did my choice of drugs. I had gotten into LSD, using cocaine, and I had already been arrested 3 times. So my mom had dropped me off at my dad's house, which was closer to New York City. And I was very lost, very confused, and very, very angry. I knew nothing at all about God. All I knew was that I was a Catholic, and then once in a while we'd go to church. But all I ever seemed to care about was not really feeling the kind of stuff that I was feeling, So I got into disorganized hockey, which is kind of like street hockey, school playgrounds and whatnot. Then I got involved with more organized hockey. And it wasn't about the game. It was just about going out there and getting all these frustrations out. So the game had nothing to do with it, So living so close to New York eventually made things worse. New York City made things worse. I started smoking angel dust, and I got involved with using needles. Not only did my addictions explode, but also did my life a crime. I mean, how else are you going to afford a dope habit? I tried selling drugs. You know what that was like? It was like a monkey trying to sell bananas. Keep it real. So, therefore, I became prevalent to going into the New York City subway system and committing mostly small crimes at first, but then they escalated into like robberies and other things that I'm not going to get into. But once again, where was God in my life? I knew nothing about the teachings of Christ, accountability, consequential thinking, or relationships. most of my relationships were with women who were just about as sick as I was and lived and breathed the same type of lifestyle that I had. I either met up with them in the street, in program, detoxes, and yes, even the nut house. But I'm here to tell you that as enticing as we may seem to one another, it's only a recipe for disaster. 2 dead batteries will not start a car.
Amen.
Now, due to the lifestyle I had led, I had developed certain health issues related to my addictions back in the 80s. I was told that my friends and I, due to our lifestyle, we was all soon going to be dead. Because just like the leper,
Bless him. You got it.
because just like the leper, he too had no cure. Come to find out, these were lies.
That's right. That's right.
What's that song? These are the voices, these are the lies. This is what I've been living for the past 40 years. I'm still here.
Amen.
So for the past 40 years, I too had been trapped and tormented. Just like these poor little birds. I'm sorry. I've been through countless relationships and jail sentences from New York to Miami, been to prison 4 times, been shot at twice. I've been stabbed in the head during a race riot, which I had started up in Attica, New York. You know, I've been lit on fire twice, living in the street. But I firmly believe that sometime throughout the course of our lives, you know, we're either going to see, hear, or experience something that will change the course of your life. Because the way I was living, only an act of God and the love of Christ could alter my course. So back in May 2014, after a failed suicide attempt, I entered Teen Challenge. And some of you may have heard of Teen Challenge. Like Promised Land, it's a Christ-centered environment. You know, where finally, after 50 years, I was educated in the truth and submit myself to what his obedience and his will truly was. And little by little, my problems started to go away. But then after I graduated Teen Challenge I was on as a staff member, you know, you hear, I took my eyes off the Lord, but you know what? It started with me not doing my devotions. Then it started with me not reading my Bible, stopped going to church, my men's groups. I paid no attention to my prayer life, paid more attention to my job. And then, once again, I became lonely and trying to figure out what's going on. So I made a couple more poor choices all over again. Working late at night, drinking 1 or 2 after work, just to wind down after a 14-hour shift. Then I decided to just walk off somewhere and needed to sit down in a really, really, really bad section of Vero Beach, Florida, known as Gifford. And this is the only place within 3 counties that something like this would happen. I just wanted to sit down and drink a beer and get my thoughts together. And a cop pulls up in front of me, and here I'm thinking he's gonna, say something to me about sitting on the side of the road drinking.
Right here.
I'm right next to that cop car.
Don't go reaching into anything. Just go right on the hood. Hands right on the hood.
Well, what's the problem?
Put your hands on the
What I'm
hood.
saying, what's the problem, sir?
You're gonna. You know what? Turn up.
No, I don't want a problem.
Put your hands on the hood.
What do you want to do? Shots fired! Shots fired!
Bad choices put you in bad situations that you have nothing to do with. They ain't got nothing to do with me. So I don't know what was worse, sitting next to that cop car with bullets flying over my head or being picked up by the SWAT team 5 minutes later. You know? And when they brought me back, my knapsack was there, and them little things they put all over the crime scene, all around my knapsack were shell casings. So, last week, Ms. Vera had spoken about there's no coincidences in God's life. Because with everything I had done in my life, everything I had felt, the anger from childhood, the pain, the abandonment, the guilt, the loneliness, the shame, the selfish desires I sought out, everything combined with depression is all I ever focused on. And this is when I truly lost sight of what God had really had in store for me. You know? Yeah, and if I claim to be a wise man, it surely means that I don't know. I stole that one. But I'm willing to go out on a limb and say that since childhood, God had his hand on me the whole time and got me through those things and brought me here to give you this message. My identity verse is Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You know, people tell, oh, you're being brainwashed, you're brainwashed. I tell you what, the way I was living, you needed to take my brain and put it in some peroxide and put it back in, because I tell you what, man,
Amen.
Something had to change with all this stuff right here. Okay? I'm almost coming to a close here, but my 3rd month lesson tells me that not to let my emotions determine whose thoughts I will embrace. And yeah, these guys, I do get emotional once in a while. You know, I think about how when our crew goes through Tallahassee to mow the lawns, we're shooting down Old Bainbridge and we're passing D-Block and we're doing 50 miles an hour. And what do? Try to take a quick look. What's going on down Den Street? You know what? That kind of sounds like Lot's wife when Sodom and Gomorrah were getting destroyed.
That's right.
You're looking back at your old life. I need to train myself not to do that no more.
That's right.
All right? So here's my message. If you're tired of being that rock on the shore and you're continuously getting beaten and battered by the sea, taste and see that the Lord is good, because blessed is the man or woman who takes refuge in him. So if you feel that you too are trapped in guilt, shame, selfishness, misery, anger, loneliness, or caught up in gossip, man, at altar call, come up here. You know, and you leave that baggage here, because that's what Christ died for. Get out of that mindset, because this is what the power of Christ can do. If you're skeptical or still doubt, then take a leap of faith. Like we did, taking that leap of faith in that bag of dope, that it wasn't going to kill us or knock us somewhere where we really want to be. You know, but if you want to keep walking around with your misery, I'm sure it will be refunded to you at the door as you leave. So you need to come here at altar call and get rid of that stuff. Drop that baggage off.
Amen.
Okay? In closing, is get yourself out the cage. And then you're going to find out that greater is the one living inside of me than he who is in the world.
Amen.
Okay? And we can't change the direction of the wind. But if we adjust ourselves, we can always reach our destination. So let me ask you a question. Are you in or are you out? Thank you.
Amen. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it.